Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful day here in Largo, Florida. Today, actually, before we get started, I was on a Dr. Eric Crom's podcast. There's a link. It's called The Blueprint, one word. Eric was a strength coach at the University of Kentucky while I was in Lexington, and he's a really, really good dude who's doing a lot of good work. And he has a really neat format. We basically sat down for like an hour and a half, and we filmed recorded like 4 or 5 different episodes. So he released the first one today, which was like 15 minutes. And it's how I got it wrong. Michael Jordan was right, but you'll have to tune in. The link is in the description. Tune into that to check it out. It's a really, really cute little, not cute, but it's good. Cute's not the right word. It's a good little quick interview. He found that the little 15-minute bursts, people seem to like better than these long drawn-out interviews. So you can go check that out. But today we're going to talk about how to increase willpower. This is probably I don't get a ton of traffic on social media. One, because I haven't been consistent over the years. I really only have started posting consistently in the last couple of year or two, because before that I was spending so much time in the gym. And, I really should have hired people to post stuff for me, but that's just kind of how it works. You live and you learn. Right. But, one of my number one videos is like, the title is How to Increase Willpower. And then basically it's like improve your health. That's essentially what all the video was me saying, improve your health. And it's gotten it's the number one viewed short on my YouTube channel by far. And we're going to go over that today. Because a lot of people are like, well, how do I don't have the desire. I don't have the willpower to do this X, Y, Z. It comes down to simply improving your health. And the first thing that you need to have good willpower is a purpose. Okay. You have to have some sort of goal or purpose, whether it's to be healthy or to perform in a certain way. But then you don't focus on that specific goal. In World War II, or not World War II, in the Korean War, they didn't have anybody escape from their prison camps in Korea. And what they did is they basically interviewed these guys, and they took the strong-willed guys with a purpose that were like very adamant, and they put them in the maximum security, like hardcore concentration camp. And then the guys that were like, didn't really have much of a purpose, that weren't as driven, they put them in this like really minimal security with like, lots of food, and like, it was really interesting. But the guys that were highly driven, they put them in the maximum security. And then the guys that were not as abrasive, that were, kind of go with the flow kind of people, they put them in these minimum security, and nobody tried to escape. But then they put the really highly driven people with a purpose in the maximum security. It's really interesting how that worked. And they didn't have anyone escape, because usually there's people that escape, these prison camps, in especially in war, because there's a lot of chaos. But that's kind of to the side note. But you have to have some sort of purpose. Like if you have no reason to be here, or no reason to exist, that's where faith comes in, and all these things. And I think a lot of the problems we're having today is because people just, life is kind of meaningless. They don't really have a purpose. There's no sense of like, life worth living sort of thing. And once you take away life worth living, that life is difficult, but it's for a greater purpose, it's for a greater good. Once you take that sort of belief away, it just becomes, well, life is all about getting as much stuff and as much pleasure as you possibly can. And that's fun for a little while, but over the long haul, that doesn't work out so well. So, and basically you got to start small and build momentum, and that's what we always talk about with having habits that you can fall back on, like walking outside 3 times a day, getting the lights off at night. A lot of people try and make these extreme changes quickly, and they come out of the gate really fast, and it's not sustainable. So that's why we start with our 5 fundamental habits. Get outside, walk 3 times a day after meals, protein at every meal, get the lights off at night, drink high quality water, have social connection. Those are all things that are sustainable and that you can do constantly. And if you do those things, your body's going to be in a better place. You're going to have the reserves. And Eric Crom and I talk about this on his little podcast about having reserves, so you can drive hard when you need to, right? And then also understanding that there's going to be times where you have to sacrifice some things in your life. You have to neglect your family a little bit, or you might have to, neglect certain things about your life to achieve a certain goal, whether you're starting a business, but that can't last forever. A lot of people get stuck in that mode and they never ever come out of it. You have to develop great self-awareness if you want to have motivation, consistent in motivation. You have to be mindful of what's going on with your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, recognize situations or triggers that can weaken your willpower and develop a strategy to overcome them effectively, because you only have so much willpower. So if you're constantly having to battle certain things, you're going to spend that willpower on things that just don't really matter, right? So if you can be a mindful of making sure you get enough relaxation, make sure you're treating yourself well, so that when you treat yourself well, you're sleeping well. If you're sleep deprived, it's a lot harder for you to be mindful of how you eat. It's a lot harder to not drink alcohol. A lot of these high, riskier behaviors come from the fact that you're not in a good place and you're tired and you're trying to make yourself feel better. And of course, you got to create daily habits, like these routines. So if you make the walking outside just something that you do, that you automatically get up and you go for a walk, or you eat breakfast, you go for a walk, you eat lunch, you go for a walk. And it's just something you do. It's not something that requires any effort, like going to the gym. If you consistently go to the gym, even though you can't train, maybe you can't train as hard as you'd like to, but you still go and you warm up and you do some stuff and you go home, that becomes just automatic. It's like kind of like brushing your teeth or going to work. You just kind of do it, right? So consistency with small habits is going to allow you to not have to use that willpower to do those small habits. So you're going to have more willpower for things that are more demanding. Practice delayed gratification. Train yourself to delay immediate gratification for bigger long-term rewards. Practice resisting impulses for gradually increasing the duration of the time you delay gratification. So, you can be like, you have that cupcake in front of you and you're like, I'm not going to eat that cupcake because my goal is to, lose X amount of body fat by a certain period of time. I'm going to delay, or I'm going to not eat the cupcake right now at 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm going to eat the cupcake right after I train, because that way I know I can mitigate some of the negative effects of eating that cupcake. And if I have that cupcake after training and then I eat a decent meal, I'm not going to all of a sudden go on a binge of all sorts of junk food. So a lot of people, especially in today's world, really struggle with delayed gratification. They're not able to push off that, that pleasure reward. They just give me the pleasure. They can't delay that down the road, right? Foster a supportive environment. Have friends that have similar goals and similar lifestyles. If you're an alcoholic and you're trying to kick alcohol, you're probably going to have to get away from all your buddies you go to the bar with. Like, you're not going to be able to go to the bar with these guys, sit there and not drink. Like, the amount of willpower it takes to do that. Or if you're addicted to certain behaviors, you need to remove yourself from that environment, because, it's kind of like putting it's kind of like putting a wolf into into a big pen of sheep. Like, that wolf is not going to be able to not eat the sheep. Like, that's what it's programmed to do. Right. So if you've got some habits in your life or some behaviors in your life that you're struggling with, you probably need to change your friends, and you probably need to, find an environment that's more in line with what you do. Of course, I hammer this like till the sun comes down. Manage stress and rest well. If you're sleep deprived, if you're highly stressed, you're not going to have the willpower. It's going to be so much easier to eat that, bag of Twizzlers to manage to make yourself feel good. Things like meditation, walking outside, breathing through your nose, taking quiet time in nature, is going to basically help with that. And prioritizing self-care. A lot of people will work their butts off, but they will not take time to take movement breaks. They won't take time to do things like float tank, or they won't, they'll spend money. People will spend hundreds of dollars on getting their hair done, their nails done, beer with their friends on the weekends, whatever habits they've got. But but they won't, they won't pay for a float tank session, or they won't pay for restorative yoga, or they won't pay for a massage, or they won't, drink high quality water because they're like, it's too expensive, but they'll go drop, 25, $30 on alcohol. And then of course to celebrate progress, like enjoy your victories. When you do these things consistently, really be grateful for them, and focus on the process, not don't get hyper focused on the goal, because you want to focus on all the things you need to do daily to basically achieve where you want to go. If you focus too much on the destination and not the journey, you're going to get yourself in trouble. And this is a gradual process, and willpower kind of comes and goes. But the better you take care of yourself, and the more low level, moderate activity you do, the better chances you're in, the better mental place that you're in, the better chance you're going to have of surviving tough times when you get there. Right. And it's the low level, consistent activity that gives you the capacity to handle the intensity. Right. And so, you want to have, and that's one of the problems with today, is that our modern world is so easy, and there's not enough manual labor. There's not enough kids playing outside. They don't build that toughness and that resiliency over time. And then they're soft. And then when they run into a big challenge, they don't have the resources and the capacity to handle it. So, there's just a few thoughts on that. So a little ramble there, but, we have, if you get on our email list tonight, today and tonight, you'll get an email. We're wrapping up our fat loss or our body composition course tomorrow at 10 a.m. So you'll be able to get on that. Dr. Stillman has his blood pressure webinar that he's doing. It's this Saturday. It's at 10 a.m. So it's on my YouTube channel. It's on Dr. Stillman's YouTube channel. That'll also be in the email. It'll be sent out on the email list. You can sign in and actually come in on StreamYard and watch it as well. So there's options for that. And that one's going to be a good one. We get a lot of inquiries on how to lower blood pressure. Obviously, stress management is a huge part of that. So you can go over to Stillman Wellness, and just when the pop-up comes up, you can put your email in there. That'll put us on the email list. And every week we're going to be doing a different webinar on Thursday that we're going to allow you to be part of. And obviously, if you want to participate in question and answer and things like that, then you need to become a member of the coaching program. So, but we're trying to give, if you want to be on our email list, one of the reasons we're really, really encouraging people to get on the email list is, like yesterday, my Instagram got, I'm in Instagram jail right now. So I still have an Instagram, but my Instagram is GYMLAIRD. But the fact checkers, the powers that be, say I've been spreading too much disinformation. So they basically said that none of my anything I post is not going to show up on people's feeds, other than only the people that follow me will be able to see my stuff. So my stuff is not going to be pushed out with hashtags or anything like that. So only my followers will see my stuff. So if you're on Instagram, go ahead and give me a like to kind of, this is just so Orwellian. It's nuts, but we won't get into that because I'll probably get banned off YouTube as well. So I'm also on, I'm on Rumble. You just search Jim Laird on Rumble. All the videos we do on here get backed up on Rumble as well as Odyssey. So you can check those out. You can go to Dr. Stillman's link tree or mine to get on our email list. That way, if we do disappear off the internet as they ramp things up, we can find you and you can find us. So, because the email list is the best way to stay in tune with what we're doing. So I appreciate you all tuning in. Good morning to you, Geneva Beach. That is a very interesting name. Are you actually named after the beach itself, or, well, probably not with the last name, but it's a great name. It's a great name. So unless anyone has any quick questions, I will we'll sign off. But hopefully that helps you with the willpower thing. A lot of people, I just don't have the desire. I don't have the, I don't have the energy. I don't have this. I don't have that. And that all comes down to self-care, taking good care of yourself, building resilience and capacity, and building habits so that it doesn't require so much willpower So you could just do what you need to do, right, because it's your job, not because, you have to will yourself to do it. And then if you do need to will yourself to do something, you have the desire and the capacity to do it. So that's basically the bottom line. Please please follow, subscribe, share, all the fun things. And we will see you tomorrow. And hopefully we'll see you on the body composition webinar. Dr. Stillman had, 2 great Monday master classes, one on first responders and military and toxic exposure. And the other one was on the supplements you should take. Those are both really good. So I'd recommend going back and watching those. Have yourself a wonderful day. Make sure you get outside today.